Hello friends, welcome back. The last time you saw me, we were out in the garden and we were harvesting a loofah sponge. If you missed that video, please go back and watch About a Loofah. That is the name of the video. Loofah, in case you don't know what they are. We take you from these being in the garden to them being in the sponge form that you see right now. So please go back, take some 12 minutes, I believe it is, watch the video all about loofah. So we've talked about gardening so far. In the video series, we're going to talk about all different kinds of things that are all natural. So there'll be gardening, there'll be some therapies. Maybe we can find some people out there that do different types of therapies and we can hook up with them and talk to them and see what they do. I myself do several different kinds of therapies, so we'll be talking to me about some of them as well. We'll be talking about diet and food and trying to eat cleaner than what we eat now. And if you have something cool that you do, I don't know, maybe you're a llama farmer and you do the wool to clothing or the wool to yarn, or you're a beekeeper, something, get a hold of me. My information is all out there. You can find it easily. And let me do a series on you. People need to know what's out there and what's available to them. So anything all natural, get a hold of me and we can chat. Today, we are talking about food and additives, specifically something called brominated vegetable oil. It has been in the news recently. We are now in December of 2023, so getting close to the end of the year. And I was driving to school the other day and I heard something come across the news and it caught my ear. And I was like, well, I've never heard of this. What is it? So I paid a little bit more attention. Wrote it down because I knew I would forget the name of it, and I did some research, and today we're going to talk about brominated vegetable oil. So what exactly is this? The news report came out specifically, I have the date written down, November 2nd. So we're in December, so it took me a little while to get the research and get to you on this. But the news report was about California. Specifically, they passed legislation banning this thing called brominated vegetable oil, as well as red number 3. That I've heard of before. It's a dye that goes into some of the foods that we consume. So since it passed legislation now, it will officially go into effect in 2027, but only in the state of California. It is proposed for a nationwide ban, but it hasn't hit everything yet. So this is only in California as of yet. So what the heck is brominated vegetable oil? And we'll say BVO sometimes in case you hear the two of them intermingled, so you'll know exactly what that is. But as a background, this is a vegetable oil that has been modified with bromine, which is a natural element that can be used as an alternative to, get this, chlorine in swimming pools, and historically it had been used as a sedative. It's been used in our food since the 1920s, according to the FDA. So let's do a technical definition of brominated vegetable oil. It is a complex mixture of plant-derived triglycerides that have been modified by atoms of the element bromine bonded to fat molecules. Now, I had to look down at that one because I couldn't remember it. So there is the technical definition of brominated vegetable oil for you. So let's do a historical timeline on this thing. So I've already told you that in the 1920s it was added to food, but what's going on with that? So let's go back to 1931, which was quite a long time ago. Most of us were not alive. It was used by the soft drink industry to emulsify citrus flavored soft drinks, preventing them from separating during distribution. So it just looked nicer to have it all mixed together and it would stay mixed together. Hence, brominated vegetable oil. Skip ahead to 1958. it was added to the generally recognized as safe food list, which is GRAS, in case you ever see that abbreviation. So 1958, they said, as far as we know, this is safe for human consumption. So by the late 1960s, the FDA removed it from its GRAS list, but decided that there wasn't quite enough evidence to ban it completely. Instead, it was limited to the acceptable limits of 15 parts per million. Now, I have no idea what 15 parts per million mean, but in 1958, that was what they came up with. So jumping ahead to 1970, concerns were raised once again about the effects on the heart, but it never got resolved. In 1970, Europe, Japan, and India also banned this, saying that we're not having this in any of our food at all. So since 1970s overseas, no more. 1976 rolls around, and somebody, and I can't tell you who, what institution, because I couldn't find that information on the internet. I just found that there was a study done on pigs, and the study found that the BVO had damaged the kidneys, the livers, the hearts, excuse me, and the testicles in pigs. But while data showed negative side effects on animals, thankfully, I guess we can say, it had never been tested on human beings. So 1976, we ran some tests on the pigs. The test results were not favorable. Still, let it slide. Roll up to 2013, Pepsi removes this additive from all of their Gatorade products. They weren't told they had to, but they voluntarily removed it. Coke followed a year later in 2014 and removed it from every single one of their soft drinks for consumption here in the United States. Clearly, we weren't shipping that product over to Europe at that time. 2020, Pepsi quits in all of its drinks now. It kind of caught up with the Coca-Cola company, except a drink called Sundrop that was produced by Dr. Pepper's Snapple Group. And that is the one that's made by Pepsi that to this day still has this additive in it. And here we are. This is the end of 2023, and we're talking about it again because it's in the news, right? So I can tell you in Canada, this additive, the BVO, is available in all of their citrus beverages. And since we're here in South Central Pennsylvania, I have written down some of the sodas and drinks that this additive is still in and where you can buy it, just in case you would like to avoid it. So Stars and Stripes orange soda from the Dollar Tree, Mountain Lightning and Orange-ette, which is available at Walmart, Clover Valley, which is at the Dollar General store, and Wise Quality Citrus and Wise Quality Diet Orange. So those are the things in our area that you will probably see this in case you'd like to avoid it. So I'm also going to tell you, I think it's strange, and maybe you can answer a question for me, because I'm not quite sure. Why do we have these things here in the United States and European countries have these chemicals and these additives banned for years and years and years? I don't know. And I tried to look it up on the internet, but I couldn't really find the why. I found the what, as in what additives that we're not allowed to have in our food anymore, but I didn't find the why. So if you're out there and you're watching this, maybe you're from across the pond, and you can give us some insight here in the US why we have things that are available to us, but the European countries don't. Or if you just have an opinion, throw a comment down there. I'd like to hear what you have to say. And I am going to tell you the top 8 American foods that are banned in other countries. Because like I said, I was looking for the why, but I didn't find the why. But I found some interesting things that we have here in the United States that you cannot find if you go overseas. Number 1 thing in our country is instant stuffing and instant potatoes. They have additives called BHA and BHT, which has some carcinogenic properties, and it has the potential to hinder blood from clotting. Specifically, BHA keeps food from spoiling, which is why it is something that we add to some of our food products. Number 2 on the list, Skittles. Come on, who doesn't love Skittles, right? So Skittles have something, well, the worst thing that's in Skittles is yellow number 5 and yellow number 6. These things have been found to cause hyperactivity in children. It's also linked to tumors in the testes and the adrenal glands. And I mean, this product is kind of marketed to your kids, right? They're Skittles, they're in pretty colors. It's candy, so of course your children love it. So Skittles, number 2 on our list of banned foods. Number 3, Twinkies. You know, did you ever lose a Twinkie in the bottom of your drawer and you didn't realize it was there for like, I don't know, a year or 2, and you took that sucker out and unwrapped it and it was just fine? Yeah, so Twinkies are on a list, as well as Little Debbie Swiss rolls, specifically Swiss rolls, because they have yellow number 5 and red number 40. I can tell you that red number 40 was on that hit list in California as well, but it did not get passed this time in their legislation. Only the BVO was talked about specifically. Red number 40 is completely banned in Austria, Norway, and Finland. They don't let it in any of their food sources at all, but we have it here. Number 4 on our list, Pillsbury biscuits. Due to partially hydrogenated soybean oil that has been linked to heart disease. That was number 4 on our list. Number 5, bread. People, bread. We love bread. Specifically bread that has an additive called potassium bromate. It has been linked to cancer, nervous system disorders, and kidney failure. So here's something that I found very interesting. There was a study in a country called Brominated. Okay, so I had never heard of Brominated. I had to look it up and see where it is. And I really don't know why specifically there is where they did these tests, but this test included 13 bakeries. Research showed that all bakeries that had this experiment going on them had symptoms that they experienced from this potassium bromide. It's an additive to flour, by the way. And they had what is called potassium bromide toxicity. Every single baker out of the 13 bakers that they did these experiments on came up with symptoms. And that testing, which I found that very interesting, was from the National Institute of Health.gov. So if you'd like to look that up and read on it a little bit further, they didn't go into too many specifics, but at the end of the day, there's what it was. Also something that we've all heard of, right? High fructose corn syrup. So this is just a common type of sugar, and we all know what sugar does, right? Known to cause obesity, diabetes, hypertension, and heart disease. And I'm gonna talk to you more about that in just a second, but that's on the list of the top 8. Also, the last 2 are very interesting. American pork. Not pork from any other country, but specifically on that list was pork that comes from this country, the United States. There's a hormone called ractopamine that they use that gives the pigs quick growth, so they can get them to market quicker from birth, of course, little babies until they're able to take them to market. So this hormone has been associated with major health problems in food-producing animals, such as Downer syndrome and severe cardiovascular stress. It has also been linked to heart problems and even poisoning in human beings. And the last on our list, number 8, enough already, right? One more, chlorinated chicken. Now, what is chlorinated chicken? This is done to treat high levels of bacteria, which is a symptom of poor hygiene and low animal welfare conditions, which is not allowed in UK farming. Here in the United States, if you've ever seen a chicken producing plant, they don't look like they're the cleanest thing. You know, bunch of birds contained in a small area, poop everywhere. So in order to clean it, they use a chlorinated cleaning substance. Now, chlorinated washed chicken does not pose any health and human concerns in the presented final product, and that is a direct quote from the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Food Safety and Inspection Services website. So just in case you're concerned about why we're using chlorine to clean our chicken here in the United States, our United States government says don't worry, the finished product is completely safe for human consumption. Okay. So I'll let you make your choices and think about our top 8 list, because that's only our top 8. There's so much more. So I told you I would talk to you a little bit about what high fructose corn syrup is, and that's also an abbreviated thing. You might see HFCS as an abbreviation for that. Especially when you talk about, well, we have corn syrup that we can buy in the store, right? Some of you might cook with it. I know I do. Karo corn syrup, right? So both are derived from the starch in corn, but corn syrup is 100% glucose. And glucose is quite easy for our body to digest, whereas the high fructose corn syrup has been enzymatically converted to fructose, and that product can only be digested through our liver, and it's very strenuous for our liver to try to break down in large quantities. So why is it there? Why is this product in our food? Well, according to the websites that I've researched, it is more cost effective to produce that sucrose product versus just traditional sugar. So follow the money. It's a little cheaper for companies to produce products with high fructose corn syrup. And just as a side note, the USDA recommends 10% of your calories come from sugar. Okay, so that's a thing that you can keep back in your mind. So 10% is good. High fructose corn syrup, not such a huge problem in small quantities if you can let your liver just break down those small quantities of things. So I hope that this explanation was not too lengthy for you, because we definitely wanted to talk about the brominated vegetable oil, since that's what's been in the news. But just a little bit of side things as I was doing the research for you. You are, of course, can always go on the internet and continue some research or read up on that additionally as you choose to do. But since it was kind of a current event, I thought we'd talk about it, and clearly people have been talking about this since the 1950s, so this is not breaking news. And even in California, where the legislation has been passed, it will take until 2027 for this product to not be seen in the state of California anymore. From my understanding, the small food grocery chains are the ones that are trying to repel this decision, because they want to keep adding this to the store brands, in which I named some of them that you guys might find in our area, which is South Central Pennsylvania. So please hit the like button and hit the subscribe button, because we will be talking more about food. In my family, we've been trying to eat clean for close to a year, and it's a difficult thing to do. It's time consuming. When you flip the product over and you try to look at the ingredients list, most of the things that are on there you can't pronounce, you can't read, you don't know what they are. So when I shop, I have my phone with me, and it takes me forever to shop this way, but I check them out, I Google them, and I see what they are, and then I just decide from there whether it's something that we want to eat or not. Because clean eating is mostly, you know, raw fruits and raw vegetables and taking things home and preparing them rather than just buying something even simple like frozen French fries or chicken nuggets. I was kind of surprised when I started reading these lists of ingredients. And it's a challenge, so you kind of have to pick and choose, you know, what you want to do. I feel like we're at about an 80% in our diet, that we have 80% clean, healthy foods and 20% of things that you just can't get away from. Or things that you're not willing to sacrifice, or going out to dinner. Who knows what what's in your food when somebody else is preparing it at a restaurant, right? Are they doing farm to table, or are they just getting something from a company like US Foods, you know, and making it taste really good and serving it to you? You know, you don't know. So just like eating an elephant, right? Just take it one bite at a time. I feel like the next video that we're going to do is also going to be about additives and preservatives, but not anything that you're going to ingest, specifically the ones that are put into things that we put onto our skin. Because you know that everything that you put into the skin is absorbed into the body as well. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more on the next video. And if you didn't catch video number 1, please go back and read all about, I don't read anything, right? Please check out About a Loofah. And that was a project this year in the garden, and you can see the progression from the plant all the way up until the finished product. And please drop a comment below. The best way to get small businesses like mine to be recognized and to get us on top of those lists of getting out to more people is by not only watching it, but having your friends and family watch it, and then hitting the like button and the subscribe button. So that being said, just do what you can as far as the food is concerned. Choose as wisely as you can and as often as you can. You can't be perfect all the time, right? So I will talk to you in just a little bit about the skin next time. All right, so probably that won't be until after the new year, so happy holidays to all of you.